Good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, I'm DGust, founder and CEO of Java Plus. Today, I'm going to be presenting you with a plan to improve our supply chain network. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss the proposed change to our supply chain network. I'll be comparing the best practices of industry leaders regarding location, supplier selection, application of technology, traffic management, and optimization of the supply chain. These are the topics we'll be discussing today, to include the supply chain network design of Amazon and Walmart and the best practices of each of them. I will also be providing you the improved network design for Java Plus to include our long-term locations, selection of suppliers, application of technology, traffic networks, and optimization techniques. At the end of this briefing, I'll be providing a recommendation for specific steps we need to take as we optimize our supply chain. Supply chain network design is the collection of tools, techniques, and processes to get goods from the manufacturer all the way to the consumer, while reporting the demand information from the customer all the way back to the producer. Therefore, it must be customer-centric and entail risk management to eliminate disruptions to the supply chain or information chain. The nodes in the supply chain network are the suppliers, transporters, distribution centers, retail and fulfillment centers. They're the touch points for our products. And optimization will eliminate the bottlenecks or redundancies in the network. It will improve information flow and the collaboration of upstream and downstream nodes. Amazon has recently begun building an airfield to move its products from distribution center to fulfillment center. They are continually adding more transportation resources to eliminate reliance on external transportation nodes while still moving products to the customers in faster and faster times. That is just one example of how Amazon built its supply chain network to delight its customers. Another is in its packaging. Recently, customers have been complaining about how difficult it is to get to the products they've ordered. So Amazon has decided to use frustration-free packaging, which eliminates a lot of the twists, ties, and bindings that hold its materials in place to stop customers from being able to start using them. Also, Amazon is continually adding more automation and artificial intelligence at its fulfillment centers and other nodes in the distribution. This reduces human error and time it takes to get goods from inventory stocks into the customer's hands. These distribution centers are part of a massive network of the fulfillment centers across the U.S. Nearly every major metropolitan area has at least one Amazon fulfillment center in the vicinity. This allows Amazon to be able to get goods to the customers within 24 hours. Walmart has recently implemented an on-time and full supply chain model, which is designed to reduce the costs and time. It maximizes cross-docking by synchronizing the efforts of shippers to get goods into the distribution center, onto the truck for the next distribution center, and on the way. Walmart has also been building a network of sustainable, environmentally aware suppliers, which eliminates waste and pollution. Walmart's goal of eliminating greenhouse gases is on track because of its use of sustainable, environmentally aware suppliers. Similar to Amazon, Walmart operates over 160 distribution centers within 3 hours from its stores worldwide. This cuts the cost and time it takes to move goods from distribution to the retailers. These distribution centers are used using vendor-managed inventories, which reduces the product flow disruptions and eliminates stockouts. The vendors in the VMI model actually still own all the products and therefore have a vested interest in using a far leaner inventory model. Walmart recently has started using blockchain to track its produce and perishables to specific growers. This has helped eliminate some of the diseases that have been spread through produce by being able to isolate products made by specific growers instead of the entire inventory system. Therefore, some of the pros of Walmart is its distribution centers near customers, the sustainable suppliers who are integrated in the planning of their entire supply chain network, the use of on-time in-full inventory to be able to get the materials cross-docked without having to be frustrated or left in line, and the use of blockchain to track the product through every node of its network. Some of the strengths of Amazon's supply chain is its fulfillment centers near the customer base. A full range of organic transporters to include air and ocean craft. Customer-centric planning, and the use of AI and automation throughout its distribution channels. Some of the drawbacks to Walmart is that the on-time in-full system requires market strength to be able to leverage suppliers to give the discounts or be fined 3% if a shipment is early or late. Also, the scale of their supply chain network is very difficult to manage without having a massive supply chain team. The driver shortage in the US makes it difficult for them to fill long-haul truck driver seats. Even though they're paying $90,000 a year, they're still at approximately 80% filled. Some of the drawbacks to Amazon is that their customer focus can cause difficulties because the customers change their preferences faster than a company can change its strategies. Also, they're focused on growth and not on individual profit. Their inventory model to prevent stockouts creates higher inventory costs for Amazon and its fulfillment centers. And although AI and automation is making things more efficient, it is viewed negatively by the public because people consider that putting people out of work. Some of the best practices we will be using to change our supply chain network is we are going to be using more shippers and suppliers in our design. They have the expertise and understand where their difficulties lie. Also, we will be using a more customer-centric approach to ensure that demand is captured along the supply chain. We will be using decentralized distribution centers to meet the needs of our regional customers based on demand data and cluster. Our vendor-managed inventory vendors will have to be increased to a larger breadth so that we can reduce our inventory turnover cycles. And we will use more of a just-in-time model to increase the cross-docking of supplies by penalizing our suppliers that deliver too early or too late. When selecting our suppliers, we should partner with suppliers that have sustainable networks and large organic distribution. This will enable us to be able to use some of their resources and still meet our environmental and our customers' goals. We should negotiate with our suppliers to include penalties for early or late shipments, similar to how Walmart does with their on-time in-full model. And finally, our partners should be very familiar with VMI practices and integrated into our supplier relationship management system. Through application of technology, we can implement a rigid transport schedule that choreographs all of our shipments to our cross-docking operations. We should implement some RFID on every product to ensure the accuracy and accountability of goods. At every node of our transportation system, we should implement electronic data interface to provide real-time visibility of the inventory and demand status because things can change while a truck is on the road. Also, we should synchronize our inventory across all of our vendors, which can leverage competition and increase the scope and the ability for us to be able to get goods from more than one producer. To improve our traffic networks, we should increase the cross-docking to reduce less than truckload shipments to our stores. This can be done through using the on-time in-full model like Walmart has, and also through the contracting of a fourth-party logistics firm with the experience and depth to be able to subcontract to multiple transporters and manage the complex transportation network. To optimize our supply chain network, we should utilize continuous process improvement models, such as the DMAIC of Lean Six Sigma. This begins with analyzing the supply drivers to define our network. We then measure performance and variance of the performance to identify root causes. At the culmination of a DMAIC model, you have an improved process or supply chain network. During this model, we should engage with our suppliers and transporters and utilize their strengths and experience to identify additional problems that we may not have noticed. This is done using a matrix organization structure. It eliminates silos and ensures a full spectrum of input from all concerned parties. In summary, a supply chain network, it's the connections of nodes through which products and information flow to its customers. They must be continually analyzed and optimized to reduce nodes or inefficiencies. Amazon and Walmart have supply chain networks that can leverage their size and the share of their market, but smaller companies cannot do so because we have a smaller share of the market. I'm recommending that we invest in a full spectrum supply chain network design analysis to identify elements that should be modified to align more with our goals and our supply drivers and customer interests. We should expand our base of suppliers for our VMI model and shared distribution centers. We should employ a fourth-party logistics firm as a prime contractor to leverage their expertise and ability to subcontract with multiple transportation firms. We should restructure our logistics model to a matrix organization that eliminates bottlenecks and silos and enhances efficiencies through the enterprise by leveling skills and knowledge. And finally, we should invest in passive RFID to improve the shipment tracking and accuracy of all of our products. The next few weeks, we are going to be performing an independent analysis of my proposed supply chain network. We'll be hosting a working group meeting on the 25th of March to discuss any findings that you've had in between now and then. On 1 April, we will hold a decision meeting that will determine which aspects we are going to implement and which we are going to be shelved for the future. And we'll be implementing the decision at a time to be determined based on which aspects we implement and which ones we postpone. Now, if there are no further questions, I would like to thank you for your time, and I look forward to working with you again and seeing you in a week. Thank you very much.